The night shift at Korea's Advanced Space Monitoring Station was usually quiet. Most nights, Dr. Hana Kim would check the incoming data, make some notes, and drink too much coffee. Tonight was different. "That's strange," Hana said to herself, her eyes fixed on the computer screen where an unusual pattern flashed. The pattern wasn't random noise from space. It had structure. It had purpose. Hana had worked at the station for 5 years. She knew what human signals looked like. This wasn't one of them. Her heart beat faster as she ran more tests. "Ji-ho," she called across the room. "Come look at this." Dr. Ji-ho Park looked up from his own work. He was younger than Hana, just 2 years out of university, but brilliant with pattern recognition. He walked over and leaned close to her screen. "What am I looking at?" he asked, pushing his glasses up. "I don't know exactly, but it's not random. See this sequence here?" Hana pointed to a repeating section of the waveform. "It repeats, but with small changes each time, like a language." Jiho's eyes widened. "Where is it coming from?" Hana tapped a few keys, bringing up a star map. "Somewhere near Epsilon Eridani, about 10.5 light-years away." "That's not us," Jiho whispered. "And it's not any known human satellite or probe." They stared at each other. The room suddenly felt colder. "Should we call Director Lee?" Jiho asked. Hana nodded. "Yes. But first, let's make sure this is real." For the next hour, they ran every test they could think of. They checked for equipment errors. They looked for similar patterns in past data. They compared it to known human transmission types. Nothing matched. The signal was real, and it wasn't from Earth. Technical Director Taewon Lee arrived at 3 a.m., his face serious. He was in his 50s with gray hair and tired eyes, but when he saw the data, those eyes became sharp and focused. "How long has it been coming in?" he asked. "We first noticed it 3 days ago," Hana explained, "but it was weak. Today it's stronger." Taewon studied the patterns. He had worked on secret government projects before joining the space station. He knew what encrypted messages looked like. "This is a message," he said finally. "But I don't think it's meant for us." Jiho looked confused. "What do you mean? Who else would it be for?" Taewon pointed to parts of the signal. "See these sections? They're mathematical, universal language. But the complexity suggests the sender expects the receiver to understand advanced theories we've barely started to figure out. So they're talking to someone else? Another alien civilization?" Hana asked. "That's my guess," Taewon said. "We might be overhearing a conversation between two advanced species. Or what?" Jiho asked. "Or it's a distress call," Taewon said quietly. "The pattern has urgency to it. Repetition with increasing intensity." The 3 scientists worked through the night. By morning, they had translated parts of the signal using advanced computer programs. The message contained mathematical formulas, coordinates, and what looked like technical specifications for some kind of energy system. Hana called a meeting with the station's entire scientific team. 20 tired but excited scientists gathered in the main conference room. The air felt electric with possibility. "We believe this is a distress call," Hana explained, showing the signal data on the big screen. "But it wasn't meant for humans to find. The technology described is far beyond what we currently have." "Who was supposed to get it?" asked Dr. Min-Soo Choi, a quiet quantum physicist. "We don't know," Taewon answered. "But whoever they are, they might be as advanced compared to us as we are to ants." The room was silent as everyone considered this. "So what do we do?" Jiho finally asked. Hana took a deep breath. "I've already informed the International Space Council. Representatives from major space agencies around the world are flying to Seoul now. They'll be here tomorrow." "But what do we do?" Jiho repeated. "Do we answer it?" That was the question no one had a clear answer for. By evening, the station buzzed with activity. Government officials arrived. Military personnel set up security checkpoints. News vans gathered outside, though no one had told them why. Hana found a quiet corner in the lab to think. The signal continued to come in, growing slightly stronger each hour. She studied the translated portions again. From what they could tell, the message described a problem with some kind of energy containment system. The mathematics suggested a failing field that couldn't hold something dangerous. There were specifications, measurements, power requirements, and urgency. Someone out there needed help. But why would we pick this up, she wondered aloud. If it wasn't meant for us, maybe we weren't supposed to, said Jiho, walking into the lab with 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to Hana. Maybe it's just luck that our receivers were sensitive enough to catch it. Or not luck, Hana said, an idea forming. What if the signal is so powerful, so urgent, that it's being broadcast in all directions? A desperate call for help to anyone who might hear? Jiho considered this. Like a ship sending out an SOS at sea? Exactly, Hana nodded. They don't care who answers, as long as someone does. The next day, the emergency meeting began. Representatives from NASA, ESA, Roscosmos, and China's space agency joined the Korean team. UN officials arrived too, along with military advisors from several countries. Director Yuna Kang from the UN Space Coalition led the meeting. She was stern and practical, not easily impressed. Let's be clear, she said after the initial briefing. We have 3 options. 1, we ignore it. 2, we keep listening. 3, we answer. If we answer, said a NASA official, we reveal ourselves to an advanced civilization. Are we ready for that? If we don't answer, Hana countered, and this truly is a distress call, we're turning our backs on someone who needs help. The debate went back and forth. Some argued for caution, others for humanity's moral duty. The room divided along familiar lines: fear versus hope, isolation versus connection, until Dr. Min-Soo Choi, who rarely spoke in large meetings, stood up. When a storm comes, he said, his voice soft but clear, and we hear someone calling for help in the dark, do we first ask what language they speak? Do we ask if they look like us? Or do we simply help? The room fell silent. This signal was not meant for humans, Min-Soo continued, but we heard it anyway. Perhaps that alone gives us the right to answer. Hana looked around the room. Faces that had been uncertain now looked thoughtful. Even Director Kang seemed moved. The signal continued to pulse on the monitors around them, a distant cry in the darkness of space, and humanity prepared to answer. The meeting room at Korea's Advanced Space Monitoring Station had never been so full. People stood against the walls, their eyes moving between the screens, showing the alien signal and the faces of those arguing about what to do. 3 days had passed since Dr. Hana Kim first noticed the strange pattern from Epsilon Eridani. Now the whole world knew about it, or at least the important people did. We need more time, said General Sung from the Korean military. His uniform was perfectly pressed, his face stern. We cannot rush into contact with an alien civilization. UN Space Coalition Director Yuna Kang nodded. I agree. Responding to a signal not meant for us could be dangerous. We don't know who sent it or who it was meant for. Hana looked at Jiho across the table. They had barely slept since discovering the signal. The young scientist looked tired but determined. With respect, Jiho said, I don't think we have much time. The signal is getting more urgent. The mathematical patterns suggest whatever problem they're having is getting worse. You're assuming it's a distress call, said NASA's representative, Dr. Wilson, but we can't be sure. It could be a trap, a way to get developing civilizations to reveal themselves. The room grew louder as people argued. Some wanted to send a message right away. Others wanted to wait months or years. A few wanted to pretend they had never heard anything at all. Tae-Wan Lee, who had been quiet for most of the meeting, finally stood up. The room fell silent. I have studied signals all my life, he said. First military codes, then deep space communications. This signal has all the markers of distress, the repetition, the increasing intensity, the mathematical focus on a specific technical problem. He pointed to the main screen where the signal pattern flowed like a river of light. They are asking for help with a containment field. Something dangerous is breaking free, and they need to hold it back. We may not understand all of their technology, but we understand the basic problem. A woman from the European Space Agency raised her hand. Even if you're right, what can we do? Their technology must be centuries ahead of ours. Taewon smiled slightly. Perhaps. But sometimes a fresh perspective can see solutions that experts miss. We may have ideas they haven't considered. The debate continued through the day and into the night. World leaders joined by video. Scientists from every major country offered opinions. Military officials warned of dangers. Religious leaders spoke of cosmic brotherhood. Through it all, Hana, Jiho, and Taiwan kept working on the signal, learning more with each passing hour. Late that night, Dr. Min-Soo Choi invited a small group to his temporary lab in the station's east wing. Min-Soo was quiet but respected. When he asked for a meeting, people came. "I've been studying the technical problem in the signal," he said to Hana, Jiho, Taiwan, and Yuna, "and I think I understand it." He showed them complex diagrams on his tablet. They're trying to contain a quantum instability. Their usual method is failing because of radiation from a nearby stellar event. "Can you explain it more simply?" Yuna asked. Min-Soo thought for a moment. "Imagine trying to hold water in your hands. Now imagine the water is also electricity, and it keeps changing shape. That's what they're dealing with." "And how would we help with that?" Jiho asked. "We had a similar problem in our lab last year on a much smaller scale," Min-Soo said. "We couldn't use the standard containment methods because of interference, so we tried something different." He showed them more diagrams. The others leaned in, their faces lit by the screen's blue glow. "This might actually work," Taewon said eventually. "It's simple but clever." "Simple solutions are often the best," Min-Soo replied. "Sometimes experts become trapped in old ways of thinking. They miss obvious alternatives." The next morning, Min-Soo presented his idea to the full meeting. He spoke softly but confidently, explaining how Earth's scientists might help solve an alien civilization's problem. "We can offer an alternative approach," he concluded. "Not because we're more advanced, but because we think differently. Because we're not limited by their traditions." The room was quiet when he finished. The idea that humans might have something valuable to offer an advanced alien civilization was both frightening and exciting. After lunch, Director Yuna called for a vote. "We have heard all sides," she said. "Now we must decide. Do we answer the signal or remain silent?" Representatives from 23 nations raised their hands. 17 voted to respond. 6 voted to stay quiet. Humanity would answer. The next week was the busiest of Hana's life. Working with scientists around the world, she helped craft humanity's response. "We need to start with basic mathematics," she told her team. "Show that we understand their problem. Then offer our solution." Jiho focused on explaining humanity itself. "We should tell them who we are," he said. "Where we live. What kind of beings send this message." "Keep it simple," Taewon advised. "No politics. No history of wars. Just the basic facts about human civilization." Min-Soo worked on explaining his alternative solution to the containment problem. He made it as clear as possible, using universal mathematical language. On the 7th day, the message was ready. Earth's most powerful radio telescopes prepared to send it toward Epsilon Eridani. The night before transmission, Hana found Jiho on the roof of the station looking at the stars. "Are you nervous?" she asked, standing beside him. "Terrified," he admitted. "What if they take our message as an insult? What if they're angry we interrupted? Or what if they're grateful?" Hana replied. "What if we save lives? What if tomorrow is the beginning of something amazing?" Jiho smiled slightly, always the optimist. "Someone has to be," she said. "Besides, helping others when they're in trouble is what humans do best, even if those others have tentacles or 6 eyes or live as gas clouds." The next morning, scientists, government officials, and military personnel gathered at control centers around the world. At exactly 10 a.m. Korean time, Director Yuna gave the order. "Transmit the message." Powerful signals burst from Earth's largest radio telescopes, all aimed at Epsilon Eridani. Humanity's answer raced into space at the speed of light. Now what? Jiho asked as cheers filled the control room. Now we wait, Taewon said. It will take 10.5 years for our message to reach them. And another 10.5 years for their response to reach us, Hana added, if they respond at all. Min-soo shook his head. I think you're wrong, he said quietly. If they're advanced enough to send that signal across light years, they may have ways to travel or communicate faster than light. That's impossible, Jiho said. Nothing can move faster than light? Min-soo smiled mysteriously. Perhaps, or perhaps we just haven't figured it out yet. As the celebration continued around them, the four scientists looked up at the monitor showing the star map. Somewhere out there, someone was in trouble, and humanity had just told them, we hear you, we understand, and we want to help. The signal was not meant for humans, but humans had answered anyway. 2 weeks after sending their message to the stars, the excitement at Korea's Advanced Space Monitoring Station had settled into a steady rhythm of work. The world still buzzed with the news of possible alien contact, but the scientists had a job to do. Hana Kim stood in the new command center, now 3 times larger than before. The government had rushed in equipment, expanded the facilities, and assigned more staff. What had once been a quiet research station was now the center of humanity's first attempt to help an alien civilization. Any changes in the signal? She asked Jiho, who monitored the incoming data. Still the same pattern, he replied, not looking up from his screen. But the urgency markers are increasing. Whatever problem they're having, it's getting worse. Hana frowned. Their message was racing through space at the speed of light, but it would take years to reach Epsilon Eridani, years the aliens might not have. Dr. Kim called a voice from the doorway. The international team is ready for the daily briefing. Hana nodded and followed the assistant to the main conference room. Scientists from 20 countries now worked at the station, each bringing their own expertise. They gathered every morning to share updates and new ideas. Taewon led these meetings, his calm presence keeping everyone focused. He stood at the front of the room as Hana took her seat. Good morning, he said. Let's begin with the signal analysis team. A woman from India's space agency stood up. The mathematical patterns confirm what we suspected. The containment field, holding their quantum material, is failing. Based on the rate of degradation, they have perhaps 2 months before complete failure. Murmurs filled the room. 2 months was not enough time for a light-speed message to reach them. Next, the response. Team, Taewon continued. Any suggestions for improving our transmission? Min-soo Choi cleared his throat. We've refined the containment solution. Our latest models show it should work even with their level of quantum instability. But will it reach them in time? Asked a scientist from Brazil. No one answered. Everyone knew it wouldn't. Afterward, Hana found Min-soo in his lab, working alone on complex equations. You look troubled, she said. Min-soo looked up. His eyes were tired. We have the answer they need, but not the means to deliver it in time. Hana sat beside him. Maybe they'll check their historical records, find our message years from now and know we tried to help. Cold comfort if their civilization is destroyed before then, Min-soo said. They sat in silence for a moment. Unless... Min-soo suddenly stood up. Unless we're thinking too small. What do you mean? Hana asked. We're assuming light speed is the limit. But what if it isn't? His eyes were bright now. What if there are ways to send information faster? That's impossible, Hana said automatically. So was heavier than air flight once, Min-soo countered. So was quantum teleportation. So was nearly everything we now take for granted. He pulled up a diagram on his computer. I've been studying quantum entanglement. In theory, entangled particles can affect each other instantly regardless of distance. But you can't use that to send information, Hana said. It's been proven impossible. Under current models, yes, Min-soo agreed. But what if there's another approach? What if we could encode our message into the quantum state itself? Hana started to object, then stopped. Min-soo was known for his unusual ideas. Sometimes those ideas change the world. What do you need? She asked instead. Access to the quantum research facility in Seoul, and permission to try something that might not work. 3 days later, Min-soo stood before world leaders on a video call. His idea was radical. Use Earth's most advanced quantum computer to create a specific pattern of entangled particles, then force a state collapse that might, just might, be detectable across vast distances. It's never been done before, he admitted, but neither has alien contact. We are in uncharted territory. The risk? Asked the President of the United States. Minimal, Min-soo replied. Some expensive equipment might be damaged. Some theories might be proven wrong. And the potential reward? Asked China's representative. We might save an entire civilization, Min-soo said simply. They gave him permission. The next week was a blur of activity. Equipment was moved. Tests were run. Theories were debated and refined. Ji-ho joined Min-soo's team, his skill with computers proving valuable. We're ready, Min-soo finally announced one evening. We can attempt the quantum transmission tomorrow. That night, Hana couldn't sleep. She walked through the quiet halls of the station, thinking about what they were trying to do. Send a message faster than light. Help beings they had never met. Perhaps change the course of cosmic history. She found Taewon in the observation dome, looking at the stars. Do you think it will work? She asked. The older man shrugged. I don't know, but I am proud we're trying. What changed your mind? Hana asked. In the beginning, you were cautious about answering at all. Taewon smiled slightly. I realized something important. The signal wasn't meant for humans, but maybe in a deeper sense it was. Maybe the universe has been waiting to see which young species would be brave enough, kind enough to answer a call for help not meant for them. The next morning, they gathered at Seoul National University's Quantum Research Lab. The massive quantum computer hummed in its super-cooled chamber. Around it stood the world's leading physicists, all focused on Min-soo as he explained the final procedure. We've created a network of entangled particles that mirror the mathematical solution to their containment problem, he said. When we force a state collapse, the pattern should be detectable to anyone monitoring quantum fields closely. And you think they'll understand it's from us? Ji-ho asked. We've included Earth-specific quantum signature. Min-soo nodded. If they're as advanced as we think, they'll recognize it. At exactly noon, the team activated the quantum computer's special program. The room filled with the sound of cooling, systems working harder. On screens around the room, complex patterns formed and shifted. Entanglement network stable, called a technician. Pattern encoding complete, said another. Min-soo took a deep breath. Initiating forced state collapse in 3, 2, 1. He pressed a button. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then alarms began to sound. The quantum computer's systems fluctuated wildly. Power surge, someone shouted. Containment holding, yelled another. The lights flickered. A wave of energy rippled through the room. Everyone felt it, a strange sensation as if reality itself had hiccuped. Then it was over. The alarms quieted. The systems stabilized. Did it work? Hana asked into the silence. Min-soo checked his readings. The state collapse occurred exactly as planned. The pattern was encoded, but whether anyone received it? He shrugged. We'll have to wait and see. They didn't have to wait long. That night, as Hana was preparing reports in her office, Ji-ho burst through the door. The signal changed, he shouted, his face flushed with excitement. Hana jumped up. What? How? I don't know, Ji-ho said, pulling her toward the monitoring room. But it's different. Completely different. In the monitoring room, scientists crowded around the main screen. The alien signal had indeed changed. The urgent, repetitive pattern was gone. In its place was something new. A simpler pattern repeating steadily. Taewon looked up as Hana and Ji-ho entered. His face was filled with wonder. They received our message, he said quietly. They implemented Min-soo's solution, and now they're saying thank you. Hana stared at the screen, hardly believing what she was seeing. Somehow, impossibly, their quantum message had crossed 10.5 light-years instantly. And somehow the aliens had understood. "We did it," Jiho whispered. "We actually helped them." Minsu smiled, tired but satisfied. "The signal was not for humans," he said, "but we answered anyway, and maybe that's what makes us human." The thank you signal from Epsilon Eridani continued for 3 days. Then it stopped. The scientists at Korea's Advanced Space Monitoring Station watched their screens carefully, wondering what would happen next. Some thought that was the end of it. The aliens had their problem fixed and moved on. Others thought a more detailed message might follow. No one expected what actually happened. It was a normal Tuesday morning. Hana was in her office reviewing data when Jiho burst through the door without knocking. "Satellites are picking up something," he said, breathless from running. "Something big." Hana followed him to the main monitoring room. The space was packed, with scientists and military personnel all staring at the main screen. "What is it?" Hana asked, squeezing between people to reach Taiwan at the front. "Something entered our solar system 10 minutes ago," Taiwan said. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed his surprise. "It's moving at impossible speeds." On the screen, a blinking dot moved rapidly through a map of the solar system. It had already passed Jupiter's orbit and was heading toward Earth. "How fast?" Hana asked. "Faster than light," Minsu said, appearing beside her. "Much faster. If these readings are correct, it crossed 10.5 light-years in just 3 weeks." "That's impossible," Jiho whispered. "Apparently not," Minsu replied. The room buzzed, with nervous energy. Military officers spoke urgently into phones. Scientists debated theories about faster-than-light travel. Government officials arrived one after another, demanding updates. Director Yuna Kang called for quiet. "We need to prepare for contact," she said firmly. "Whatever's coming, it will reach Earth's orbit in approximately 6 hours. "Is it a ship?" someone asked. "We think so," Taiwan nodded. "Based on its controlled movements, it's not a natural object." "Are they hostile?" asked a military general. Hana shook her head. "They sent a thank you message after we helped them. I don't think they're coming to harm us." "We should still be cautious," Yuna said. "We'll evacuate non-essential personnel from the station. The rest of us will stay to monitor the situation." The next 6 hours were the longest of Hana's life. News of the approaching object leaked to the public. Some people panicked. Others celebrated. Religious leaders called for calm. Military forces around the world went on high alert. At the station, Hana, Jiho, Minsu, Taiwan, and a small team watched the object's approach. As it got closer, their instruments could get better readings. "It's about 300 meters long," Taiwan reported, moving in a controlled pattern. "Definitely a vessel of some kind." "Any signals?" Hana asked. "Nothing yet," Jiho replied, monitoring the communication systems. The object slowed as it reached Earth, eventually stopping in orbit around the moon. It hung there, silent and mysterious, its surface shimmering with colors that seemed to shift and change. "Now what?" Jiho asked. As if in answer, all the screens in the room suddenly came to life with a new signal. This one was different from the first, more complex, more structured. "They're transmitting directly to us," Minsu said. Excitement, clear in his voice. The computers worked to decode the signal. It contained visual data, images forming on the main screen. At first, they were just shapes and colors. Then they began to come together into a picture. The room fell silent as the image became clear. It showed beings unlike anything humans had imagined. They weren't humanoid at all. They looked more like crystalline structures floating in a dense, colorful atmosphere. They moved in ways that seemed impossible, their forms shifting and changing. Then words appeared below the image, in perfect English. "We received your assistance with our containment protocols. Your solution was effective. We wish to express gratitude in person." Hana felt Jiho grip her arm in excitement. "They understood our language from the message we sent," he whispered. More text appeared. Request permission to send representatives to your planet. Director Yuna immediately contacted world leaders. An emergency global decision was needed. Could humanity handle direct contact with an alien species? Were they ready? The debate was shorter than anyone expected. Within 2 hours, the answer came back. Yes, Earth would welcome the visitors. This is either the greatest moment in human history, Taewon said quietly to Hana, or the beginning of our end. Hana nodded. Either way, we need to be brave. The alien ship sent a small pod toward Earth the next day. It landed gently in an open field near the space station. The landing site had been prepared with the best security, medical facilities, and scientific equipment humanity could gather on short notice. Hana, Minsu, Jiho, Taewon, and Yuna stood at the front of the welcoming committee. Behind them were scientists, political leaders, and military officers from around the world. The pod's door opened silently. A strange mist flowed out, shimmering with colors. Within the mist, crystalline, shapes formed and moved. The aliens had arrived. One crystal structure moved forward, floating about a meter off the ground. Colors swirled within it, changing rapidly. A device floated beside it, glowing softly. "We are the Irani," came a voice from the device. It sounded neither male nor female, but musical and clear. "We thank you for your assistance." Yuna stepped forward as Earth's chosen representative. "We welcome you to Earth. We're glad our solution helped." The crystal structure pulsed with light. "Your solution was unexpected. Our signal was not meant for beings at your technological level. It was a test sent to multiple star systems." The humans looked at each other in confusion. "A test?" Minsu asked. "Yes," the Irani replied. "We sought contact with civilizations capable of faster-than-light communication. We did not expect a response from pre-FTL beings." "Yet you answered," the crystal continued. "You solved our problem, using methods we had not considered. And then, most surprisingly, you found a way to send that solution instantly across light years." Jiho looked at Minsu in amazement. "Your quantum entanglement idea, it actually created faster-than-light communication." Minsu looked stunned. "I thought it might work. I didn't know it would change how the universe sees us." The Irani pulsed again. "You demonstrated two qualities rare in the universe: creativity and compassion. You helped strangers across the stars, even when the call for help was not meant for you." Hana felt a strange mixture of pride and humility. "It's what humans do," she said simply. "We help when we can. That quality has brought you to the attention of the galactic community sooner than expected," the Irani said. "We would like to offer an exchange of knowledge." As the formal discussions began, Hana found herself standing back, watching this historic moment unfold. The signal was never meant for humans to hear. The test was never meant for humans to pass. Yet here they were, meeting beings from another world, because when humans heard a call for help, they answered, without hesitation. Jiho appeared beside her, his face filled with wonder. "What do you think happens next?" he asked. Hana looked up at the stars, now filled with new possibilities. "I think we have a lot to learn," she said, "and maybe some things to teach as well." 6 months passed since the Irani first landed on Earth. What began as a single meeting grew into the greatest exchange of knowledge in human history. The crystalline aliens established a permanent base on the moon, with shuttle flights to Earth, for meetings and joint research. In the gardens outside Korea's Advanced Space Monitoring Station, now expanded into the International Alien Contact Center, Hana sat on a bench watching cherry blossoms fall. Beside her floated an Irani scientist they had named Lumi, for the way light played through its crystalline form. "Your world has such strange beauty," Lumi said through its translation device. "Solid matter that grows, changes color, then dies. So temporary." Hana smiled. "Maybe that's why we value it, because it doesn't last forever. Like your lives," Lumi observed. So brief compared to ours. How long do your people live? Hana asked. What you would call thousands of years. Lumi replied. Our crystalline structures renew themselves continually. Their conversation was interrupted by Jiho hurrying toward them, tablet in hand. The results from the quantum communication test are ready, he said excitedly. Minsu wants everyone in the main lab. In the 6 months since first contact, Minsu Choi had become a global celebrity. His quantum entanglement method had done more than save an alien civilization. It had revolutionized human understanding of physics. Now he worked directly with the Irani to develop true faster-than-light communication. The main laboratory was packed with scientists from both species when Hana, Jiho, and Lumi arrived. Humans in white coats stood beside floating crystals of various sizes and colors. In the center of the room, Minsu and the lead Irani researcher Vali hovered over a strange device that seemed half human technology, half alien crystal. Taewan nodded to them as they entered. Though officially retired now, he still came to all important events. His wisdom was valued by humans and Irani alike. Good, we're all here, Minsu said, looking up. We've successfully established stable quantum links between Earth and the Irani homeworld. Real-time communication across 10.5 light-years. The room broke into applause and the Irani pulsed with bright colors, their way of showing excitement. But that's not all, Minsu continued when the noise settled. The Irani have agreed to share their faster-than-light travel technology with us. This announcement caused even more excitement. FTL travel had been the dream of humanity since they first looked up at the stars. Valley floated forward, its crystal body glowing with deep blue light. Your species has proven itself worthy of joining the galactic community, the alien said. Though young, you show remarkable creativity and compassion. We have much to learn from you, Yuna Kang said, now promoted to Earth's ambassador to alien species. She represented humanity in all official exchanges. And we from you, Valley replied. That is what most interests us about your species. You solve problems differently than we do. Minsu nodded. The Irani have advanced technology, but they've evolved along different paths than us. They excel at stable, long-term solutions, while humans are good at finding creative alternatives. Our civilization has grown stagnant, Lumi admitted. We have been alone for too long, following the same thought patterns for millennia. While we need your stability and experience, Hana added, it's a perfect exchange. Later that day, Hana found herself in a smaller meeting with just Jiho, Minsu, Taewan, and Director Yuna. They gathered in Yuna's office to discuss the latest Irani proposal, a human delegation to visit their homeworld. They've invited 20 humans to travel on their ship, Yuna explained. Scientists, artists, philosophers, people who represent different aspects of human thought. How long would the journey take, Jiho asked. With their FTL technology, just under 3 weeks, Minsu said. The same time it took them to reach us. Taewan looked thoughtful. In my lifetime, we've gone from wondering if we're alone in the universe to planning visits to alien worlds. It's remarkable. And it all started with a signal that wasn't even meant for us, Hana said. But maybe that's the point, Minsu replied. The universe didn't expect humans to hear that signal. It certainly didn't expect us to answer it. But we did because that's who we are. The Irani told me something interesting yesterday, Yuna said. The signal we intercepted was sent to over 50 star systems with advanced civilizations far beyond our level. Do you know how many responded? The others shook their heads. None, Yuna said. Only Earth. Only humans. The room fell silent as they considered this. Why? Jiho finally asked. Why didn't the others help? The Irani believe it's because those civilizations have grown too cautious, Yuna explained, too concerned with their own safety to risk helping strangers. That's sad, Hana said. Yes, Taewan agreed. But perhaps it explains why the Irani value our friendship so highly. We showed courage when others showed fear. 2 weeks later, the chosen delegation prepared to board the Irani ship for the journey to their homeworld. Hana, Jiho, and Minsu were among those selected. Taiwan had declined, saying his old bones preferred to stay on Earth, but he came to see them off. The Irani vessel gleamed in the morning sunlight, its strange materials shifting colors like oil on water. A small crowd gathered to watch the historic departure, the first humans to travel to another star. As they waited for boarding to begin, Hana found herself standing next to a young Irani they called Mira. This one was smaller than the others, a student of human culture. "Are you afraid?" Mira asked her. Hana considered the question. "A little," she admitted. "We're going somewhere no human has ever been." "Yet you go anyway," Mira observed. "This is what fascinates us about your species. You feel fear, but act despite it." Jiho joined them, carrying his small bag of personal items. The Irani had told them to pack light. "I was just thinking about how this all started," he said. "With a signal that wasn't meant for us." "The universe works in strange ways," Hana replied. "Maybe the signal found exactly who it was supposed to find." Taewon approached, leaning slightly on a cane. "The boarding is about to begin," he said. "I wanted to say goodbye." Hana hugged the older man. "Not goodbye, just see you later." Taewon smiled. "When you return, you'll have stories I can't even imagine." "I'll tell you everything," Hana promised. As they prepared to board the alien ship, Minsu paused beside Hana. "Do you remember what you said the night we sent our response?" he asked. "About what humans do best?" Hana nodded. "Helping when we can, even when we're afraid. That's why we're going to the stars now," Minsu said. "Not just for knowledge or adventure, but because somewhere out there, someone else might need our help." The Irani ship rose silently into the blue Earth sky, carrying the first human ambassadors to another world. Below, millions watched and wondered what this new chapter would bring. The signal was not meant for humans, but humans had answered anyway. And in doing so, they had found their place among the stars.